3 egg yolks. 3 ounces. So this is a 2-ounce ladle. I'm not usually not measuring it, but just for you guys, I'm going to do it. So there's 2 ounces, and then another half. That's too much. I'm better off without the damn thing. Okay, so 3 egg yolk hollandaise.
I love hollandaise.
I don't like leaving eggs anywhere because it makes me itch. So I mean.
Yeah, that's right. You're allergic.
Okay, so.
Have vinegar?
Okay, yes I do. Okay, now I'm gonna add. There's a few things that I did not thoroughly explain. In the bechamel sauce, I mentioned an onion piqué or an onion cloute, which is the onion, a bay leaf, and clove. Goes in the milk and simmers, and then you add that to the roux when you make a bechamel. It's for flavoring.
Okay.
With a hollandaise, there's also a flavoring called a reduction. Okay, and all it is you take a pot, you put some white wine in it, your components of your bouquet garni, crushed peppercorns, a few parsley stems, a bay leaf, and some thyme, and then you reduce that white wine down until there's hardly anything left. It's called a reduction. Okay, really doesn't have a lot to do with you making a hollandaise. It has nothing to do with it actually. So I'm not even going to make it. I mean, I don't think the onion piqué has anything to do with you making a bechamel. Y'all made it without it.
Okay.
But it is a flavoring, typically speaking, that you might want to think about. But when it comes to the hollandaise, since I'm not adding a reduction, I'm going to add just a little bit of water, just a tiny bit of water, cold water, to make this mixture a little bit more loose. Okay? So all I have in here is egg yolks and water. Now, over the double boiler, I'm going to whisk this little by little. And what's going to happen is the egg yolks are going to slowly start to cook. So I go on the heat. Let me move this out of your way. Let me move this over here by you, Kyle. Turn that on for me, low. So I'm going to go on the heat here, and then I'm going to go off of the heat. So you go on the heat, go on the heat, off and on. Of course. On, off. I don't want to go too hot. If I go too hot, these will cook automatically and you'll have scrambled eggs. These are, and now I'm going to show you these are light in color. All right, you try to pick it up with a whisk. I don't get any in the whisk. The whole whisk comes out. I don't get nothing. So they're not cooked yet. They're very soft and watery. On the heat. Off the heat. Now if the eggs splash up on the sides of the bowl, use the whisk to scrape that back down into the bowl. So you leave it on the bowl, they're going to cook and scramble, and then they'll break in little pieces back into the sauce. Okay, on the heat. Off the heat. What am I doing when I do that? On and off the heat. There's a term for that.
Controlling it?
Yeah. There's a term for it. Controlling what?
The temperature?
Yeah, it's called tempering. I'm tempering this as I'm making it. I'm off the heat, I'm on the heat. I'm off the heat, I'm off the heat. I'm tempering it. If I leave it on the heat, it's too much straightforward heat. It's going to coagulate too fast.
And it takes 30 seconds to make this scrambled egg.
Not even. On the heat, off the heat. So I'm tempering, I'm very carefully tempering. Okay, it's starting to cook. It's starting to cook. Now when I grab it, look, there's more holding in the whisk. But it's still pretty loose. It's coming out. But more is in there now, and the color is starting to change.
Yep.
Back on the heat. Off the heat. Now it's going to start getting thick. So it's starting to get hot now. On the heat. And I'm moving it around. I'm not leaving it in one spot. On the heat. Off the heat. Starting to get thick. Alright, starting to get thick. On the heat. You cook it until until it ribbons. or until you can see the train or you see the trail. They all mean the same thing. That means when I lift up the whisk and drizzle it, I can see where it drizzled.
Okay.
Right? And it should stick, it should stay there, not disappear so fast. It disappears in like a matter of 1 second. It's gone.
So nice.
That was not good yet.
A little thicker. This, the right thickness of this, is what's gonna hold the butter. This is an emulsion.
Okay.
Back on the heat.
When I was making it in fundamentals class, we were adding the butter while whisking it too.
Some people do it like that. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just showing you, this is the way the textbook tells you to make it. And this is how I learned how to make it. You have much more success.
Right.
I've not had that many problems with Hollandaise. I hear all kinds of horror stories with it.
Yeah, no,
I haven't
the
had
way
many-
making it seems easier than before. Because the way you pouring the butter in slowly, you have to keep on whisking over. And
Look how much is in the whisk.
Yeah, it's a good sauce. Right?
See? If I lift it, I drizzle. 1,000, 2 1,000. This lasts about 2 seconds now. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 almost 3 seconds. Let's go back on one more time. Whisk, whisk, whisk. I want a nice thickness. Should sort of look like mayonnaise. Back on the heat, and then off the heat. And this should be nice and thick. Look how much, I can almost get it all in the whisk. That's the thickness I'm looking for. Now, I suggest when you get to this point, stop. Stop. Take your remaining water. Get rid of the water. You don't need it anymore. Just leave this a tiny bit, but don't put it on the heat. Come back to your pot, and then you're going to add your butter. Okay? The butter can't be too hot. If the butter's too hot, this will break. And anything hotter than 130 degrees, you're playing around with possibility of it breaking. Too hot.
Can you pour it in slow?
Okay? And then you're going to whisk this slow. Little by little into your cooked egg yolks. So right now, there was no butter in there at all. So now I'm adding the whisk, slowly whisking in the butter into the egg yolks. Little by little, this is now creating the emulsion. Now, if you don't cook the eggs right or thick enough, it's not going to hold the butter. It's going to break. And remember, this is a warm butter sauce. This should be served warm. Warm means about 120, 110. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Once it starts going in, you're going to move pretty.
Is it that temperature so it doesn't cook?
Well, if it goes any higher, it'll break.
Okay.
If it goes over, if you get a Hollandaise and heat up to 140, 150, it's going to break.
So it's not gonna cook anymore. Like it.
Not if you hold it. It's done cooking. Whisk, whisk, whisk. This you get thick. Thick is good. You can always thin it out. Look like mayonnaise or banana pudding.
My grandpa likes it. I hate cold food.
Whisk, whisk, whisk. Good. I'll bring it over here so y'all can see better now.
Oh, I hate it.
All right, there's my Hollandaise. It's not done yet though. Look how thick it is. Looks like mayonnaise. To finish it, you cut that in half for me. You're gonna add a little shot of Tabasco. This is how I was taught how to make a nice healthy shot. A little bit of salt. All right, juice of half a lemon. A little bit of salt.
Oh, this is good.
Okay. Whisk, whisk, whisk. And to get it to the thickness that you're looking for, just a little tiny touch of warm water.
Yeah.
Not cold water. Just a little bit of warm water. Can you hold that for me? And add me just a couple drops.
Tell me when to stop.
Stop. A little bit more. A little bit more. Good. There's your hollandaise sauce. Throw some broccoli in the water real quick.
Yeah.
Takes 10 minutes to make.
Well, I talked. If I don't talk, I can make it half the amount of time. I was talking, I was going slow. But that's your hollandaise, and let me get another.